Hey everyone, and welcome to my podcast. It is the Elevate Fitness and Martial Arts podcast. Remember, the goal of this is to focus on mindset, nutrition, and fitness. And today we are going to focus on the mindset. And I have an amazing guest who is a personal friend of mine, and his name is Al. And I will go ahead and have him just introduce himself. Really quick what he does, and we're going to kind of go back and forth. I do want to touch up a little bit on how Al and I met and like how our lives kind of intertwined together. So, with that said, Al, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Laura. Okay, my name is Al Scardino. I am a certified lifestyle and fitness choice. That's the name of I'm sorry, lifestyle and fitness coach. I don't really do fitness anymore, but I still keep the title. I am a retired med tech. I worked in the healthcare field for almost 30 years in various aspects of healthcare. And most recently, I worked in the last 20 years, I've worked in fitness. And in the last 11 years, I've been doing life coaching. And I'm 71 years young and looking forward to my next 71 years of life.
Yeah. So, okay, you may be asking, all right, Coach Lou, so what's up with this life coach stuff? Like, why does this matter to me? What's the point of this today? And the reason I want to bring this up is that a lot of our focus is on mindset, nutrition, and fitness, and this goes back to the mindset. And this is everything. Mindset, I believe, and there can be other opinions out there, but I believe that it is where it starts. And it is the place, I mean, your mind is what gets you up in the morning. Your mind is what gets you, to make better choices. It really starts in cultivating that mind. And so that's kind of where I'm going with this. So if you feel that you lack direction, purpose, you're stagnant, you are stuck in progressing. If you're someone who feels that you have low self esteem, low confidence, you have a hard time balancing your work and your life, you're in a position of transitioning, change, relationship changes. If you're someone like myself who really is just a go getter, an achiever, and you get stressed and you get stuck with burnout, if you're someone who procrastinates, feels like they have lack of motivation, overcoming fears, doubts, just any kind of personal development. We're talking communication, building resilience, time management, productivity, personal development, you name it. And that is all wrapped up in what L does. So, really quick, L, what do you feel? Because I know I get this a lot. What's the difference between like a counselor and a life coach? Like, do you think
I,
and we'll get there,
those-
but talk about that.
yeah, I put us in the world of the broad world of psychology, where you have your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your counselors, and then over the last, I don't know how many years. I mean, we have to go back all the way back to Tony Robbins when he coined that phrase, a life coach. Um, it's been about 20, 25 years, maybe longer, but it's a subgroup of psychology, if you will, or counseling.
Mhm.
I don't want to categorize. Well, that's pretty much what I've done is one, two, three, four. But that's where a life coach fits in. And now I want to make sure everybody understands I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. No, not at all. I'm just a guide. And I use my experiences as well as my learned knowledge in college and now university, to for what I do when I work with a client.
Absolutely.
That's it in a nutshell.
Sweet. So I've actually worked with life coaches before, and I also have considered them more of like mentors. And this is just for me and my journey, but I can say that it's been cool because when I first started off on like my entrepreneurial journey, a coach, a mentor really helped me kind of like get to that level. So, I'm thinking that they just really assist in you achieving your personal and professional goals. And
Yeah.
they can help in so many areas. And I'm talking more like limiting beliefs, helping you to set goals, get clear on what it is you want, positive self-talk. That's a huge one, especially in the world of health and wellness, mindfulness and awareness. And if you think about it, all the things that I'm saying are have to do with self-care. And that is huge in the world of mindset. I know a lot of it has to do with behavioral change. And I've even been around when Al is working with clients, and huge, huge, huge help in helping people to like foster that positive mindset. Big time in the world of confidence building. And he just really creates that supportive environment for his clients to thrive and like learn to truly like rely on the choices they make and build resilience. Um, so with that said, I kind of wanted to pop into some questions, and these questions that I've come up with, I've pretty much got because they're very common questions that come up with people, and especially when we're in the world of mindset. So I picked the ones that I feel can be super relatable to people. So all of you listening, these are things that you could probably implement in your life. And then just so you know, at the end of the show notes, I have added Al's information if you want to reach out to him. And we'll talk about that briefly before we close out, like how you can get a hold of him. And Al, I'm not sure if you do sessions like online as well, via Zoom, or if you just do in-house personal. Um, but before I start really quick, I just want to say, when I met Al, it was like an instant, like a chemistry. We just
Mhm.
vibed really well. And it was like Al was talking to me about like what he does and what he wants to do and where he envisions going. And it was like I could just see it like in my mind. So I've got to really watch him like um go to school, put that time in, and just kind of cultivate what he's doing like more and more and more. And so it's been a really cool journey to see. Al does run, he hosts a radio show, kind of what he said earlier on fitness and wellness lifestyle. And I have appeared on that one a couple times with him. But he's just a rock star, and he is just a person in this world that just wants to create positive change and just give back. And so that's kind of where our journey, intertwined together. So with that said, can you explain like the concept of mindset and pretty much the significance in personal development? So how does mindset help personal development?
Okay, so mindset to me, here's what mindset is. It's a change of mindset. Is a better way of saying this. It's a change of mindset. So I was told many years. I was told by somebody many years ago, um, and I'll quote. She said to me, she goes, "The difference between you and I and animals, or humans and animals, is we have the ability to accessorize or change, if you will." So change comes from a change of mind, okay, a change of mindset. And how do we do that? Well, there's a lot. It sounds easy. I try to make it as easy as I can in my explanation because it's like I can go on quoting not Freud, but it's been said that we have moments of genius all the time, but we're so busy with our lives just going that we miss those opportunities. Well, a mindset is sort of like just slowing down, developing in your mind what it is first that you want. Now that what you have to have first though is an image, and then a desire, and then a plan to see it through. But the mindset is this, if you will, it's a mindset of I know I can. I know I can. I asked myself, Laura, many years ago when I was doing more personal training or personal fitness coaching, I asked myself, and I'm sure you have too, what makes the difference between people who succeed and don't? And the number, the percentages is broad. I mean, there's more people that fail at, let's just say, for fitness than succeed. And I would wonder about that. And it started having, I by asking that question, I started reflecting back on my own life. And what I realized was there won't be enough time to tell you everything I've gone through in my life. But if you listen to by the way, if you do listen to my radio / TV / live streaming show via Facebook or soon to be YouTube, you would know more of my life, of what I've been through. But those things, those trying times, if you will, or even good times, it demanded that I change the way I think.
Mhm.
Now, after going to school, as you know, Laura, for these last 5 years, and now I'm working on my undergraduate, which, by the way, I submitted my application to SSU, just so you know, and I'm waiting for them to respond. I know I'm gonna get it. So, but I study psychology, and I understand. I studied. What's fascinating is cognitive psychology. Is how does our mind work? And we don't realize that we have that kind of control. We have that control to, in an instant, to make or to change our mindset. But you have to have an image, and this is where I come in, or you come in, where somebody will talk to me about what they want, and then we'll create an image of what that is. And that's a simple thing I'm saying here. When I say create an image, it's that simple. Create an image of what you look like in that picture.
Yes.
And then people like myself will guide you through that. How do I do that? Through all my experience. I have 71 years of life. I've been through a lot. It is performance.
Mm.
It is performance. A lifestyle performance coach. Coaching is what I do. And so over time, now here's the last part I'll say about this. As you put all those pieces of the puzzle together, all of a sudden it becomes a habit. It's no longer you're that other person. Believe me, your brain believes everything you tell it. You just have to be specific. And all of a sudden you're going to be really pleasantly surprised how, wow, I'm that person.
Yeah.
Make
Well,
sense?
and that kind of led into my second question, like
Oh,
how can a positive mindset impact someone's overall well-being? And you pretty much
yeah.
were just saying that, creating the habit and, believing what you're telling yourself. Um, and one
Get
thing
this.
about Al is he definitely has lived a life. And just so you know,
Mm,
like I I can appreciate that because he's relatable as a person and he's been through
mm,
the school of hard knocks. He's
oh,
not just somebody who's studied it and read about it and has no experience. Like he's lived it and the things that he's overcome, I mean, amazing. So that's why
mm.
his knowledge and his experience really plays into what he does. So I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Al? I feel like I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
not you said that. Yes, I would tell you most of my coaching comes through my life experience, and my learned experience these last 5 years and soon to be 8 is enhances what I know. And so yes, that I do use that. I forgot where was I going with that other one.
So we were talking
Yeah,
about how can a positive mindset impact someone's overall well-being?
a lot of it, and here's the other part. I appreciate that. How does it impact somebody's well-being? Well, all of a sudden you become this different person, this person that you never thought you could have been. Or, and now don't get me wrong, not everything about you, whoever's listening, is bad. No, no, not at all. It may be this simple. You may love the heck out of yourself and be very, but still there's something, there may be a void. I don't know. Or maybe just for a new hobby, you want to create something different in your life. Well, it's still going to demand, if you think you can't do it, you won't. And if you think you can, you will. And if you want that, then it's, you got that positive mindset, and it's more of a joyride. It's not, it's, in that case, it's more of a joyride. It's fun, as opposed to somebody who maybe is struggling with certain things in their life, such as relationships, or maybe they're retired and they don't know what to do with themselves. Things like that. But the positive mindset, um, it sounds so simple to say this. You have to think positive. If you don't, your brain will react in a negative way. If you think negative, you are negative. Sorry, you are. And if you're positive, meaning I can do it, I can. I mean, let's take me for instance, if you will, if you don't mind. I'm a high school dropout. I dropped out my sophomore year. Now here I am getting my bachelor's in psychology. And I have a 3.7 GPA, allow me to brag. But it's true, if I went into that with a negative, God, I'm no good, I can't do, I'm an ex-heroin user, I can't do that. I would have never achieved it, but I learned long, long ago not to think that way. Why? Because I've had many mentors, many. I wasn't consciously aware that's what happened. Now I look back, thank you, Steve Jobs, I connect the dots and I see what happened.
Yeah.
So I could do that for others.
So then, in what ways does mindset influence an individual's ability to maintain consistency? And the reason why I put that there is because, um,
Good.
we talk about this word motivation, but I think, motivation comes and goes, and we need to cultivate that skill of consistency. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
very.
where that comes in. So, how does mindset influence an individual's ability to maintain consistency?
Okay, that's a great question. And I'm going to tell you, mindset in itself may not do that, may not maintain consistency. Now, catch my words, mindset itself. That's where other people, whether it's an official coach such as you or I, or it's people in your lives who are like minded, the consistency, here's where, for me, what I practice is every morning I wake up and I listen to my lectures. Now, these are lectures relating to what I do, what's going on in my life, whether it's bad or good. And I listen to every day, every day. I don't have television. I don't listen to this stuff. I try to stay away from the news as much as possible. And so mindset is this is who I am, this is who I want to be. And eventually what happens, and you'll be pleasantly surprised to know you are that. Now, can we do it alone? I struggle. I go through my days. Believe me, I get challenged all the time because I know that person, that Freddie, that little kid I used to be, and that young adolescent who used to get himself in trouble, he's still there. So the mindset is that I know that that's not who I am, and that I just keep pushing forward who I want to become, who I am going to become. Can I do that alone? I'm going to tell you right now, I have not, the jury's still out for me on that. I don't think so. I have mentors. I have coaches, not official, but these are people in my life that hold me accountable. And you're one of those. And it's like so mindset alone, I'm not sure is enough.
And
Does that
I
make
can
sense to
give
you?
examples of that too. I notice, and I'm not sure if maybe you noticed this, but we have clients that really like to set up the dream, the idea of what they want to achieve. But then when it comes to taking action, it's like they just won't. There's something that just inhibits that action, potential, that taking that step forward. So, that's kind of what you mean by, it's more than just mindset. Like at some point, you just got to do. Would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree. We wrestle with that ideal image of ourselves. Remember the ideal image, which is the perfect image, which we're probably never going to hit. But we can strive for that. It's wonderful to strive for that ideal image. But I think that not realizing that we may face failures or hold setbacks, and not realizing that makes us weaker when they do occur, and then we don't know how to deal with them. And there again is where a coach comes in.
Hmm.
A coach comes in. I say to my clients all the time, call me, write me, stay in touch, because you're going to go through, I feel like for the rest of my life, I'm going to go through challenges. So, and I appreciate the mindset thing, but the mindset in of itself, until you understand how the mind works, how the brain works,
Well,
um,
it's so broad too. It's such a
it's
broad
so broad.
spectrum. Yeah.
It's, you know that too, Laura. It's so broad.
Yeah. So then,
Um,
if you could, could you share a few tips and strategies, to help individuals like maybe overcome self-doubt?
oh,
Take, like kind of like we were talking about, like motivation or mindset isn't enough. Like, how do you, make those, how do you take those steps forward, or using that broad
Yeah.
term, but what are some tips you would give somebody to overcome self-doubt?
Yeah. Self-doubt, I think originates from fear. And this is an open discussion, okay? And, fear disguises itself as practicality. And we think that, oh my God, we have a great idea at first, or a great picture of who we want to be, or whatever that we want to accomplish. Remember, this is not all about changing who you are. It could be creating a business such as yourself. And it could be many, many things. But this self-doubt thing comes a lot from our past, first of all, because perhaps we didn't understand the concept of failure. Hey, failure is not a bad thing. Actually, failure is what teaches us, right? Mistakes in life is what teaches us. What it is to have the ability to see it that way, not to take it as though you're something less because you didn't accomplish, or your marriage didn't work out, or your business didn't work out. No, these failures are teaching us every time. What is it Edison went through? How many thousands of times before he found the right perfect light bulb? Thousands. And he didn't quit. He goes, no, I learned. When he was asked, how come you keep trying? He goes, because I've learned 1,000 different ways to not make the light bulb. And that's not a quote, okay? But that's pretty story. So that's one thing, is this confidence. What was the word? Confidence we're using here?
Yeah, like to get past like self-doubt and helping
Yeah,
individuals overcome self-doubt.
yeah, and that comes here. Okay, you want to know where that comes from? Your subconscious mind. You know why? Because if your subconscious mind doesn't recognize something you're doing, it doubts.
Yeah.
It doubts. It goes, wait a minute, Al, you've never done this. Oh God, you're right. Oh my God, can I do that? No. See, if you just understand a little bit, and this, I do this. This is how I coach. I don't just coach, I teach. Now, I'm not a teacher, I'm not credentialed, but hey, I have friends who teach me all the time. So this is not formal teaching, if you will, but I teach. I will give you that information best to my knowledge to show you how this works and where this fear or these self-doubts are coming from. Doubt is simply somewhere the reason you're doubting is, like I just said, your subconscious mind is saying, no, 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 you never did this. No, no, no. But recognizing that, once you do, even, and use the word fear, because I think more people will relate to that word. Once you understand where that fear is coming from, that self-doubt, you go, oh, okay, that's just my brain doing what it does. That's survival mechanism, what it does. And you realize it's not personal. And then you start to learn to use this frontal lobe, which is our creative mind, and it gets stronger and stronger. What is it they say? We use our creative mind, 5% of the day, and the rest is all subconscious, automatic.
Yeah, like
So
autopilot.
autopilot. So what you believe, you will achieve or not. That's the way it works. So this self-doubt, everybody, I believe this. If you were going to ask me, part of my philosophy is everybody has the ability to achieve. Everybody. All that's missing is your desire. Your desire, and then action with a plan. Or a plan and action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this self-doubt, don't take it personal. Most of the self-doubt's probably coming from somewhere in the past. Can I give an example? I became an organ recovery tech back in the late 80s, early 90s. This was a position at UCSF, Stanford University in California Pacific that not just anybody can do. It's a specialized operating room position. I was a high school dropout. I was simply a phlebotomist, but I had this desire. I didn't realize it then, but I look back now, I know what I did. I had this desire to become that. And without knowing it, I went for it. I went for it. And 5.5 years later, I got it. I had to be trained. But this was a position not just anybody can have. if you understand what it was entailed, and I'm not going to go through because it would take hours, but I was able to do that. Ex-heroin user, right? High school dropout. Okay, lost 2 marriages by that time. Actually, going on 3 at that time. And I failed many times, but through those failures, I never lost sight of that I could be something greater.
Yeah. And I mean that we kind of touched up on some of this, but how would you guide individuals to create a balanced mindset that doesn't lead to too much on perfectionism? And
Uh,
that is a big one too, because people, okay, for example, in my world, they'll be eating great, right? Like, let's go off of nutrition. And then all of a sudden they eat something they labeled or deemed as bad. Then all of a sudden, oh, it's out the door. And then it's like, they beat themselves up because they weren't perfect. It's like, now I have to start over, or you know what I mean? So this perfectionism can be a real stinker. So with that said, how would you guide an individual to create a balanced mindset that isn't so leaned towards perfectionism?
okay, I guess first of all, we all have to understand. We know there's no perfect. That if you've taken any philosophy classes at all, you understand there is no ideal. Okay, there's no perfect. Being able to allow yourself to fail, and this is what we're talking about, to not be perfect is something, yes, that could be taught. Now, where does that come from that you feel like you need to be perfect? Well, it comes from somewhere in your past where you've been told you're not perfect, and when you hit that point, you quit. I'm not perfect. I was told that when I was 7 years old, and that's what I've always been, not perfect.
Mhm.
None of that is real. First of all, understanding that living in the past is absolutely foreboding. The past is gone. Okay, so but these are things you learned. That so a perfectionist, the reason they seek perfection because their whole could be. Let's not be exact here. Okay, let's not be. It could be coming from somewhere in the past where they were told they weren't perfect. So now they constantly seek perfectionism. Now, taking all that information, that's one thing. Like I say, I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a psychologist. I don't need to know where it came from to recognize what it is, first of all.
Mhm. Mhm.
But to understand that, again, I'll go back to that whole failure thing. If things aren't working out perfectly, that's okay. Because this, whatever that just showed you at that moment where you weren't perfect, could be leading you on to a more perfect place. It's more of coming from in here and saying, hey, I don't have to be perfect.
Mhm.
I don't have to be perfect. It's kind of like that because you're going to grow into whatever it is, whether it's with you in the fitness and the life, or me with life coaching, whatever it is you want, and you stumble for a moment. That's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I hope
And
that answers.
just to kind of go off of what Al's saying too, for those of you out there listening, um, when it comes to like perfectionism and things like that, a lot of it I feel, and like a lot of the new stuff is streaming from like a lot of social media. You see people living these what you would deem as perfect lives. And if you think about it, this sounds funny, but we all pee, we all poop, we all throw up, we all do all those things. You just don't see that on social media. You see what people want to show you. You see their representatives. So we're constantly like, you'll even like with, physically, you'll scroll through and see like these perfect bodies, but you don't know people's journeys, what they're doing. So that
Mhm.
can lead to a feeling of like inadequate, you're not enough. And, so I would suggest too, like when you start doing that, when you start like, instead of just doing something and kind of building consistency and you just want that perfectionism, stop yourself, like see when you're doing it and just know it can be enough right there. You could always come back to something and build upon it, but stop it. If you're feeling some kind of way or something keeps making you feel less than, just if it's social media, unfollow it. Like the goal here is to build and cultivate these tools that are going to make you feel better and stop you from thinking that you need to be this perfect specimen, this perfect something. And catch yourself when you're doing it to other people. Oh, that wasn't a low enough squat, or that wasn't like, where, how do you know where that person's journey is? Like, what if they're just starting out, and they're afraid of failing, but they're being vulnerable and failing and putting themselves out there. So it just kind of comes full circle, if that makes sense, just to kind of give people tips on how to deal with doing away with, you know, not trying to be so perfect.
Yeah,
Um, Go
hmm?
ahead.
Well, I wanted to say that, and once, and the process, through this process that you're talking about, eventually you come out of it realizing you are perfect. You are, I
Mm-hmm,
mean,
mm-hmm.
you're perfectly you.
Yep.
You're perfectly you. And this feeling, see, it's all about teaching the mind. And eventually those feelings, now we're talking about the feelings, the emotions, the chemical, all that. All of a sudden those things dissipate and these other feelings start kicking in, which is those positive hormones, right? Not the toxic, the positive. And all of a sudden you have a whole different thought, a whole different, not just thoughts, but those negative thoughts that develop those negative feelings are gone. And all of a sudden these positive things. When I walk into your gym, and this is a fact, when I walk into Elevate Fitness and Martial Arts and I see this classroom full of mostly women, but I see the guys too. I see greatness in every one of those people. Now, I have a gift. That's my gift. I don't look at people and see negative unless they exude negativity. And even then, I find the positive. But in every one of your clients that I've ever walked into, when I walk into your classes, I've seen greatness in each one of these, no matter what their shape. Now, I know that their shape or what they look like doesn't matter, but getting people to see that for themselves is the tough part. And you might say, "Oh, that's so easy for you to say, Al." Hey, let me tell you something about Al Scardino. He doesn't give away empty compliments. I'm not here to fool you. That's a fact, and you can ask my client. So I mean that all have that ability, helping people, guiding people to that mindset for themselves
Yeah.
is what my job
Yep.
is.
We're looking for just progress, people, that you're recognizing those little things, those little roadblocks, those little things that get in your way, and that you're able to recognize that and then come up with a strategy, like a battle plan to to kind of create those new pathways in
Mhm.
your mind that'll help you to move forward and to know that nothing has to be perfect. Like, for example, like starting a fitness journey for the first time, it may be ugly and messy and you're embarrassed or you're scared. You don't know what to do. You're worried people are going to judge you. It's going to be all over the place. But as you start to cultivate that skill of showing up and creating consistency, that's when all the pieces come together. And before you know it, like I have clients that are like, oh my God, like people are coming to me at work and asking me what I do and like giving them, they want advice on like this and that. And I'm like, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, look at where you started and now here you are as another version of you, like that higher self. So kind of, I guess, in a nutshell with this one is just, peeps, look for progress, strive for that progress in those baby steps every single day, little steps that become these amazing big wins in the end over time. It's like interest, it just adds up over time. And think of your little steps like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to mess up. You're going to have moments where you don't want to do anything. Motivation is going to be crap because it's just a word. Motivation isn't a skill like consistency or recognizing your crummy behaviors that you need to work on, kind of in that general. But now, kind of going into it more, Al, could you give me some examples of success stories, like clients who have pretty much
Yeah.
transformed their lives and their journeys by kind of adopting some of the principles that you've taught them? Like, We want to hear some win stories, and maybe even some stories of people that struggle and still are finding ways to hold themselves back, just because I think we could relate to that and see areas where we recognize some of those traits in ourselves.
Yeah. The success stories, I have a few, okay? And I mentioned you earlier, I wish they were the majority. I've worked with thousands of clients, not just as a life coach, but as a fitness coach as well. And I wish I could tell you the mass majority of them succeeded, but they don't. And what I recognized over these 20 years of being in fitness, health, nutrition, and all that, and life coaching now, is it's something that came from within them. It didn't come from me, guys. It did not come from me. Alls I am is somebody that you might call when you're struggling or keep you on the track. You're going to share your thoughts and things are going to come up. I'm going to tell you now, Laura and I hear it all. We hear nothing you can tell me can shock me. But the success stories that I've seen are people who really had, and I use that expression, fortitude, inner strength. They got to a point in their life where they recognized something was, in fact, it just happened last night, where this person that has been struggling for quite a few years, and quite a few years, and all of a sudden, just like that, sometimes we got to fall flat on our face many times before, okay? Before we finally go, it was right in front of me the whole time. Now, the success stories with those people, I'll call her C. She's my biggest one. And she was at a point, she was 235 pounds, 3 wonderful girls, and a husband, very successful, okay? And just extremely unhappy with herself. And she came to me, and you know what she said? And this was when I very first met her at the tennis club I used to work with, and I did fitness. And she goes, with her head down, she comes to me with her head down, not even looking at me, and goes, I've been watching all the trainers. I need you to kick my ass. You're the one. For the next 2 years, that girl, that woman, 2 years, wore baggy clothes at the gym, followed the programs I gave her, stayed on nutrition. I mean, it was a no-brainer. For her, it was like so deep, that desire, keep that word in mind, that desire. And then I gave her the plan. And for 2 years, we worked out together. And one day she took off. Somebody said, she was on a treadmill, I'll never forget. And they go, see, would you take off those baggy shorts and those damn baggy t-shirts, please? And her body had transformed. Now, why am I telling you that? Because that's what it takes. It's going to take inner strength, fortitude, if you will. Inner strength, something you're going to have to practice also is not allowing the inner strength. What is it fighting? It's fighting doubts. It's fighting all these things you're going to come across. She had 3 kids. They'd be eating pizza and she would stay on her meal plan. So it took that kind of dedication, and she's not to achieve what she did. And today she's in fitness coaching in her own right in Florida. But the point is, that's what it takes. Are there other success stories? Yes, I've got a few more just like that. Those are the ones. Now, some of the success stories, I'll call them S for now. And it took him a lot of falling on his face over and over again. But one day, after a lot of heartfelt coaching sessions and tears, and this person going through what he was going through, he finally hit the floor one too many times, and he didn't quit like I've seen so many people do. They fold up. No, he didn't quit. All of a sudden, because he kept that in mind, what he wanted, and through our coaching sessions, kept it. And one day he woke up to it. He woke up to the fact that he could do it. And today he's thriving big time in Nevada. He's doing great. I can't believe it myself, considering where he came from. So those are just a couple of examples. I've got many, Laura, but I can only tell you that basically those 2 examples, one female, one male, are just basic examples. It's, I think people think it's harder than it really is. And I believe this because I've had to do it so many times in my life that I call it easy now. Meaning the concept is easy. The work, yeah, the work you got to do can be quite difficult, but it's doable and it's been done. It's not something somebody else hasn't done.
And I
Does
think
that
too,
answer you?
people like, yeah, totally. But I think people want this like fast response. Like they want everything to happen overnight, like because they're uncomfortable with the ways that they're feeling. And it's like,
Hmm.
well, this takes time. This takes recognizing. And there's this author that I just love, Elizabeth Gilbert, and she said, at some point people get sick of their own shit. And at that point, it's like, okay, I'm ready to like face this. I'm ready to deal with this. And when you get to that point, it's kind of like, all right, I know that I need some kind of, guidance. I need somewhere to go because, people listening, like we could go and be like, all right, this is what I want to do. Like, how do I start, And that's why it's
Hmm.
awesome to have somebody work with you because they've done this so many times. They are just this, encyclopedia of knowledge and they can help guide you on, okay, first off, here's where we want to start. Here's what we want to see, here's what we want to, just kind of making that plan of action to take. And so once again, that's why I wanted Al on here. And this is just a little snip, of just the overall picture, because an individual's journey when they work with Al is completely different. No one is the
Hmm.
same. And it's just like for myself, when I'm working with clients, when my coaches are with clients, it's an individual journey. There's no one
Hmm.
size fits all. So that will kind of play out as your journey together unfolds. Hmm.
Could I cut in, Laura, please?
Yeah, yeah, please.
You asked me a question too, and I'm sorry, I should have followed through a little bit more on that last question because you asked, I think you said, asked me something to the effect of any practical ways of, I do want to address those, and I address this on my show every week as well. How can people learn to help themselves as well? Because it's not going to be just me, but what I do is
Yes.
direct them towards such channels, if you will, as books, lectures, of course, coaching, but lectures, books, get this, movies. Now, I'm not talking about superhero movies. I know Laura's and we love that, but no, I'm talking about it where you. So where what I've learned is this: somebody might have an image of themselves, okay, or they want this image of themselves, but they don't know what that looks like. Okay, they don't have any idea what that looks like. Well, the way you can start to, if you will, turn that negative into a picture is that you read, you get as you're reading, you'll get a better idea of what it is you want. As you're looking at a movie, it could be anything. I don't have any heroes out there, but I have actors who
Hmm.
I emulate in certain characteristics. Now, if I hadn't seen them, I might not be having these characteristics. I show a couple of them. I have Denzel Washington, Matthew McConaughey, and a few more that I'm not saying I'm emulating them. I don't want to be them as a person, but I'll see characteristics. I even emulate you sometimes, Laura. And it's like I to pick out these characters because you may not know what this person looks like for yourself. So those are, and also writing, by the way, that's another one. But that's a way of developing that image of who you might want to be. Those are some practical things that,
Journaling and
yeah,
visualization. Hmm.
yeah, you can't just. It's wonderful to get that feeling that you know you need to change, but then where we get stuck is, wait a minute, change the what? And then learning how to perform that person you wish to be, such as myself. I'm going to have to use myself again. I'm pursuing my undergraduate. at this late state in my age. I'm going to have my bachelor's. And wait, let me take that back. I've already got it. You see what I mean? My back,
Yeah. See what he
just
did
like,
there? Do you see what he
yeah.
just did? He
Mm-hmm.
switched up the narrative. He put it as if it's already here. It is, you know?
So
So that's a great technique. Um,
your
great
brain
one that
doesn't, your brain doesn't know the difference.
no.
If you're practicing or just thinking about something, it takes it as a fact.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's all. All athletes,
Rewiring
most.
that the way that information is presented. Um,
Mhm.
Absolutely, that was awesome. So, we're running out of time here, so I just want to say that in the end of the show notes, Al, if people wanted to reach out to you, how could they do that? I did include your information, your email, your phone number, but how does that usually look when someone contacts you? What does that process look like?
Okay, first of all, you can email me.
Hmm.
That's probably that's if you don't if somebody doesn't have my phone number and so on and so forth. And I'm thank you for sharing what you said about the card. Um, my phone number, I mean my email is Fredo2run. That's Fredo, the number two run RUN at gmail.com. You can also if you show my card, my phone number is on 707-776-7904. If you do call me or if you do contact me, please don't start off with just saying something. Say, hey Al, this is so and so, so I know you're real. Okay? Because I get a lot of that. If you happen to be on my social media platform, let's say Facebook, and you watch my shows regularly, you can comment right there on my shows under comments or Messenger. For right now, that's what I have. I know, because of school, I haven't really developed quite as fast as I would like, but I'm almost, fear. I'm almost
Ah,
afraid to because between school, you know, it's like I go, oh my God, do I really want to take, but no, of course, I would work with anybody if they have a desire or
or
the
at least
desire.
even following Al's social media and tuning into his show because he offers a lot of really cool tips and it goes way more in depth than what we've talked to here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that into the show notes as well so that you can be able to like tune into his radio show so that you can like be a part of that journey as well and kind of get to know Al more on a personal level.
I want to correct you a little bit here because I know we always say radio show. It's not just radio, first
So
of all,
like
and
live stream
it's
TV.
live streaming and it's channel 26, 27, 28 locally.
Cool. Okay.
We're not on the air at the moment on TV because we're still fixing the cameras, putting them all the new cameras in. But on social media, even if you're not part of my quote unquote friends list, it doesn't matter. My broadcasts are seen worldwide in Denmark, Germany, Australia. So anybody could watch. My shows are on Tuesday evening. My broadcasts, Lifestyle and Fitness Choice, are every Tuesday night or Tuesday evening at 6 p.m., which I know is a tough time, but I rebroadcast it 3 times. So anytime you can reach me through that too. In
Awesome.
that way also. Yeah.
Sweet. All
We
right.
could say, Laura, that I know. I want to let everybody know if Laura and I really get we talk forever. So I get it. We'll have to do this again. I hope one day if you invite me.
Yeah,
Because
and it will be nice to check in with you and see where you are in a couple years as your career starts to, unfold.
yeah,
So Al is really in that transitionary phase right now, going
yeah,
into that life coaching. But he's really amazing at it, and this does no justice for it. There's a reason why I asked him to come on here. So, like I said, I love it. And if you are somebody who is seeking that guidance, like I said, you know how to reach out to him. And with that said, thank you so much, Al. I appreciate you being on the show. And for
thank you.
all those of you listening, I hope you got some golden nuggets out of this and that you're able to get some good takeaways. So, until next time, adios, amigos.
Thank you.